Cool.
Hey, good morning. What day is today? Today is June 19th, 2018. My name is Jeff Fritz. Welcome back to my live stream. I call it Fritz and Friends. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. I see a couple folks there in the chat room already. But I've got a guest today. I want to introduce and bring on Amanda Iverson. There we go. There we are. There's Amanda. Hey, Amanda, thanks so much for
Hello.
joining us.
Thank you.
So, why don't you introduce yourself for folks who haven't met you?
Yeah, my name is Amanda Iverson. I'm out here in Seattle, Washington, and I'm a .NET core instructor here at Code Fellows Coding School, where we like to kind of shake up the tech scene by having more diversity around the Seattle area. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's awesome. I thank you so much for joining me so early in the morning on the West Coast.
Yes.
Um, and at Code Fellows, you're shaking up the tech scene, bringing diversity. I love hearing that. So you're teaching folks. There's our friend Steve already. You're teaching folks about .NET Core, about .NET. What's that
Yes.
like?
It's a lot of fun because we have developers coming in here that have never been in the tech scene before. They don't even know like what it is, and I get them for 10 weeks at a time, and they go from not knowing a single thing of C# and .NET to getting software engineer jobs. It's a beautiful transition.
That's awesome. I love hearing folks getting their first development job after spending some time learning the technology, learning the tools and frameworks. Oh my gosh. You must have a number of really good success stories there.
So many. Oh, so many. I could chat your ear off on them. Just so many anxious people coming in of all backgrounds, of all pretty much all walks of life. And they really just want to get a job that's going to be stable, that they love doing, that's going to make an impact on the world. And this is the field to do it.
Absolutely. So that reminds me, I've got a good question that came in my GitHub repository. Questions from viewers. I think you might be able to help me out with this. Let me go over to the code, and I want to share this question with you. And some of our friends here in the chat room actually have some feedback. I think you can help out with this. Let me head over there. There we go. So the question that we got was, how do we get community involvement or feedback in open source projects? And the comment from Nemanja here is, in his case, he's afraid if he has enough knowledge to contribute efficiently, how does he know what are good issues for junior developers, for people starting out to get started? What would you say to those folks?
My first reaction is if you know how to fix it, fix it. The
Oh,
great
okay.
thing with .NET Core is it's so brand new that there's a lot of things that not everyone knows. So there might be something that you know that maybe a senior developer doesn't. So if you know how to solve it and you've spent the research in, definitely do a PR against it. If you're afraid to do that or you're just not quite comfortable, find small bug fixes. Find any weird quirks that no one wants to fix and use contributions. And worst case, worst, create that developer's documentation. Everyone hates documentation. So be able to contribute to it and to add to it, it's just an extra layer, is makes a project so valuable. So find the bugs, find the quirks, find the documentation, or go out on a limb and do something that you just want to learn to do. So any contribution is valuable enough inside the OSS world.
Oh, absolutely. And I like how you're really touching on documentation there. If you spend the time to learn a project a little bit and you get in and you understand how to build or work with whatever that project is, and you can contribute by taking some of that little bit of documentation that the leads they don't have the time for because they're blazing the trail. Oh my gosh, that is such a burden off of them to be able to contribute and start, and they'll recognize your contribution, and they'll say, hey, here's Namanja, here's Amanda, and they're contributing and helping us out. We can rely on them to help grow our project. Oh my gosh, here comes Steve. Thank you so much for the follow. Is that 3 in live? Dad? Dead. Not quite sure. Thank you for the follow, and thank you for the hosting from Visual Studio and our friend Fierce Kittens as well. Very cool. So there you go, Nemanja. There's a little bit of feedback. Get started with whatever it is that you know about. Learn a little bit, maybe contribute some documentation. So I'm going to close this. Answered with Amanda on June 19. All right. Thanks for that. Now, I wanted to spend some time today working on our core wiki CMS project. It's really growing out of more than just a wiki into more of a CMS. It's becoming more than a wiki. You could almost use it as a blog at some point here. And I think there's an opportunity for us to do some interesting things in there. And we had discussed a little bit about notifications as part of this.
Yes.
So this is actually kind of a topic that you teach as part of your course, isn't it?
Yeah, so when the second half of my course, we actually get to work with, we build out bigger projects and bigger sites, and I get to teach them how to use Azure to kind of a little bit more exciting measure. And we actually integrate SendGrid to send emails. Just being able to work with the whole email server and see how things can be offloaded to external services to still get the same job done. And so I was really excited when you're like, let's do notifications. It made complete sense to use SendGrid because that's just something we're kind of already familiar with.
Okay. So really where we are with CoreFX being this little project, and it's not complicated yet. We're going to start to ramp up and integrate an external service. I'm thrilled to be able to use an external service with this to do notifications. So why don't we go over to the source code for it, and we'll set up and hook up LiveShare, and that's the hat I'm wearing today, is the LiveShare logo for Visual Studio LiveShare. So I'm going to go over to my Visual Studio. There it is. Let me change to dark theme. I like using the dark theme on stream here. So I'm going to go into my options, general, and change this to the dark theme. Good morning, Steve. You're busy. Arc01, thank you for the follow. There we go. Ah, that's so much nicer. All right. I've already got a bunch of files open here, but I want to make sure that I can share, and so Amanda can contribute with us here. So I'm going to click the share button up top here. Yes, it's going to use and go through the firewall, and I need to allow this because I applied a patch to this. My invite link is copied to the clipboard. I'm going to paste that into my chat with Amanda over here so that she can grab that and in her Visual Studio attach. Good morning, Bane Games. He says good morning to you too, Amanda. I'm assuming a he. I'm not sure. Good morning, Maker Blaker. While we're getting Amanda connected in here, we'll start talking through what's going on. Low-hanging fruit, says Joe Bunt. Yeah, I think this is a good start. And Braga is connected from Portugal. Good afternoon. Great to see folks joining us today. All right. Now, there is no hat command. Oh, that might be neat to do. Put a hat command in the bot. We're not there yet. Stream giveaway, says DJ Vortex. Ah, I'm working on some giveaways. I'm working on that. You're a little bit ahead of me there, viewers. So, but I definitely think hats are going to be a good thing for us to do here on stream. All right. So Amanda's connected, and you can see the little A up here where she's connected in, and she can see exactly what we're looking at here on stream. All right, hey, Parathon. So the first problem that I have is we don't have a way, we have a way for folks to log in, and we don't have a way for them to associate, here's the author, here's the person that wrote an article, right, the author of the article. We don't have a way to save that yet. So before I can send an email to them, right, and we already know we can save an email, we can save an email address for an author. I think we need to attach the author to our article objects.
Yes.
Make sense?
Yeah.
All right, and then once I have that information saved, then I think we can start doing notification work.
Sounds like a good plan.
All right, so I'm going to go over to the article object here, and I'm just going to add a string for the author's email, because I think an author's email is unique enough for us to kind of make the connection between who the author is and their author record in the database.
Okay. Do you have their authorization set up through their email? Is that what their login name is, or is it a unique user ID?
It is what their login name is. If I take a look at our identity object over here, and that's a good question. We should make sure we cover that. If I take a look, I have a user object here, and it's just the default identity user. I'll F12. Oh, it's not going to show me. F12. There we go. So an identity user has a username that's a string, And if I click into that, their email is right here. And by default, it actually sets the email as their username when they log in. So, all right. So I think it's not too much of a stretch to think that email is unique among our authors. It's not a true primary key, right? A
Right.
unique identifier. So I'm just going to add real quick here a string, and I'll call it author email. And we're going to need that to be required. Cool. S&B asks, what does it do if you log in via Twitter? Good question. When you log in with an external provider, it actually prompts you for an email address to use on the system.
Do you have OAuth integrated in on this site?
I added Twitter over the weekend. Just
Okay.
added it. Yeah. Where did I do that? It is, I think it's over here in Identity Hosting Startup. Here we go. If string is null or empty, my Twitter key.
Ah, yes.
And then there, right, very good point, right? This is it, 3-4 lines of code that you need to add Twitter authentication into your project. Oh my gosh, look at this. Arc0. I'm not a JavaScript programmer, but Amanda was my instructor. Look at that. You got some friends out there. Awesome.
Yes, I know him. Hello.
So I have the article added. I need to... I'm sorry, I have the author added to the article. I need to save it when we create an article, and then I think we can start talking about notifications.
Yeah.
So that's going to be under create. Where is it? Under create. So before we save, right, so here's my on post. There's information about setting up my article. I think I need to say article dot author email equals user dot, and then I think I need to say identity, right? And name is going to be the same as email, but there's a way to get this flipped over so that I actually get my identity user back.
Yeah.
And I think I can do an as statement on this. As identity user. No, it's where was it? We were just looking at it. It was core wiki user. There it is. As core wiki user. And I'm going to need to bring in that. And now I can say dot email. And now it'll save that author's email with it. Lucky. Oh, look at that. All right. So now I've saved the author's email with the article that they've created. And I need to scaffold that change to my database. I'll do that real quick, and then we'll talk about notification. So I'm down here in this, and so I love these .NET EF commands. .NET EF migrations add article author, and I need to give it the context, which is application DB context, and that should work, right?
It looks right.
Here we go. EM Triple asks, will you want comments to have authors as well? Ooh, that's a good point. There's no value provided for the required property. No default value provided. All right, so let's add a default value just to get that in. Because really what I should end up doing is requiring it from the get-go. Let me see. Where was that? The article object. I'm blanking.
Let's see here.
Ah, there it is. So I'll default it like that. And if I try this one more time, what happens when the user updates their email? That's a really good question. And
Everything blows up.
it blows up. just doesn't work. So that's where we would want to have a real primary key, right? And do you talk to your students about setting up and doing normalizing data and keys and foreign keys?
Yeah, we touch on it enough for them to understand what that looks like in regards to web development. Actually, my students, if they're watching now, will be listening to it about today and tomorrow. Uh, so they'll get kind of a sneak peek on that. Yeah, we definitely chat with them about like what the importance of a primary key is versus a foreign key, and like how we utilize that across the web application in regards to the database.
Okay. So really what I should be doing, instead of storing that author's email address directly with the article, is I should be grabbing some sort of an author ID and storing that instead.
Yeah.
Let's shoot. I have a database browser. Let me open this and just take a look at what our user table looks like, because it'll give us a good idea as to what we might be able to use for a key. So there's our ASP.NET users, and there is an ID field there. If I browse the table, the ID isn't an integer, it's a GUID.
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about using GUIDs versus integers for keys?
I think integers are easier to work with.
Okay.
But I think that GUIDs have a more secure sense to them. So, I mean, it really just depends on how complicated or simple do we want to make the application.
Sure. And there's some folks in the chat room saying that for replication GUIDs all the way. Yeah, absolutely. Right, if you're using GUIDs, you lose the ability to do clustered indexing in your database.
Right.
Right, because they're randomly generated. They could be different IDs, but they're really about the same size. So, yeah, S&B says it is hard to guess a GUID. Absolutely. So, I could still use the string there, and instead of making it author email, I could change it to author ID. What do you think? Do you think that's a better way to go?
Yeah, we're guaranteed to have a unique off of that then. So, yeah, let's jump with that.
Okay. Banifus, thank you for the subscription. And I love the dancing Bill and Steve now. All right, I'm going to close this database because otherwise we're going to get errors. So I'll correct. I was naughty at doing this. I'm sorry. We'll replace that with author ID. Let me delete the migration that we just created. Actually, didn't it give me instructions for that? Yeah, there we go. EF migrations remove. And then we'll put it back in with the appropriate change. Build failed.
Oh, no.
Pain in my neck. You know what? It's because I have author email out there now in create. Right? There it is. Do that remove. Add the same author ID to the comment class EM triple is recommending. Unrecognized command. You know what? I'm just going to delete it then. Pain in my neck. This one. Yep, goodbye. Do you want to head over? Do you want to take care of hooking that up in the comments class?
Yeah.
So I'm going to close all but this one, and then I'm going to peek in at where Amanda's working. There she is in comments. And here we're going to add an author for a comment.
Call it what, author ID?
Yep.
And where's our get set? Nope, that doesn't belong there.
No, I think you need a semi at the end, right?
Oh, I thought we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're good.
All right. And saved. Notifications based on an identity role. Well, it's not a role, right? We're using author as the term to reference. Yes, there is an author role, but we're using author to reference. Here's the person that wrote this, right? It could be creator role, creator ID, or but author, I think, references that. Comments already has ID article. Can we get author ID from there? Well, you can get the That's a good point, Reddy. We can get the author of that article, but we can also notify by putting the author ID on the comment. We can also notify the other people who are commenting that, hey, there was a comment on this article as well. With identity role, you can get specific notifications.
Oh, so like depending on your role in the website, if you're say an admin or a regular user, we could hook up certain notification depending on your position in the web application.
Sure. We can definitely do that. I think that's a little bit more advanced than what we want to accomplish today. Shouldn't the ID be a GUID to match the database? You're right. You're right. Tell you what, why don't... I'm going to open another editor here, and I'm going to modify article in a new window, and let's change those to... Where is it? New vertical. Let's change that author ID to a GUID. So I'll change that one there, and we can update the one over here in the article. We should also do it in... shoot, this is going to need to be GUID.newGUID by default. All right. I think that takes care of the author IDs in both of those locations. Cool. And you're right, I troll everybody with my indent settings? No, I don't. I have wonderful indent settings. All right. I feel like I should delete the initialize and regenerate my migrations. Oh, we have a default article that's created that now needs an author ID.
Oh, okay.
Right? So let's just say GUID.new GUID. That should work. Yep. Okay. Let me rescaffold. Wait, GUID new GUID if no author ID is specified. Yes, we need to have a default user at some point, but right now we'll just make it a nobody, and we'll figure that out later. Well, I don't have true referential integrity here, right? I'm just kind of loosely connecting the two. All right, let me nuke the initialize, and let's regenerate. So I'm going to do .NET EF migrations add, and I'll just call this initial. Yeah, so referential integrity, when you're talking about an enterprise class database, right, enterprise organization, right, really important. Oh, crumbs. What did we break? Build failed. It's all my fault. Where is it?
Oh, it's over in our create CSHTML page.
Yeah. So if we're converting it to a user, shouldn't we be able to get their ID off of that instead of their email?
Probably. There are options. Yeah, we can grab the ID.
Cool. All right, let's use that.
Still not happy. Oh, nope. Now it's even more angry.
Well, it's even more angry. What did we do?
I don't know. Let's see here. What do we have as our options?
So Amanda's got the IntelliSense on her side that she's able to look at. Hey, unparallelogram. Thank you for the follow. It's got to be there.
We have...
Yeah, what's ID?
That's what I had before, and it just was not doing it.
It says it's a string.
Yeah, it says implicitly convert string to system GUID, so...
So we can use that. We can use that. If we do GUID.parse around it.
Wow. Oh, it likes that. We're good.
That should work. Try the build one more time. New GUID from string. Absolutely, Namanja. Build succeeded, so we'll generate that migration again.
5th time's a charm, right?
Oh, Yes. So I had mentioned on Twitter, let me get your opinion on this. I learn from breaking things.
That's the story of my life.
Okay. I'm not the only one.
Oh no, I only learn from breaking things. I break things all the time and every day. The
O-
debugger is my best friend.
yes. Yes. Debugger unit tests. I want to know quickly when things break, right? I hear people use the term fail fast, and I fail a lot.
Fail fast and fail often.
Yes. And our friend Janesco in the chat room has a good idea for a business rule we should consider for notification. If the author ID matches the author of the article ID, then get new comment notifications. I think, I think if the author of a comment doesn't match the author of the article, right? We want to make sure that we only send one notification to that person.
Right. We don't want to spam them with a bunch of emails. That would
Exactly.
be bad.
Um, Oh, Arc Zero. Is there such a thing as code that isn't broken? That sounds fake. Yeah, a little bit. So, all right. I think GDPR. Oh, don't even get me started, S&B. Oh, don't even get me started. Um, let's make sure the application runs, and then we can try. We can try out wiring up the notifications at this point.
Yeah,
So,
Jeff, let's launch it. Let's see what the user interface looks like.
absolutely. Jeff is in America. He doesn't care about it. Yes, I do. I very much care about Europe. Global GDPR would be awesome, right? Global GDPR would cripple people like Facebook. All right. I love the database error screen that we haven't applied our migrations, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oh, wait a sec. I still have a DB file hanging out here. Let me delete the database and try it again. No, really try it again. With feeling this time. .NET EF database update. And then this is... Oh, I need to delete both databases. All right, now we'll try it. Still no.
What does that error say? I can hardly read it. I didn't get a browser this time, so or at all.
It's saying an error occurred applying migrations.
Try applying them from the command line. Isn't that what you're doing?
That's what I thought I was doing. .NET EF database update application DB context. And SQLite does not support this migrate operation, drop column. Why does it think it needs to drop a column? All right, let's rebuild the migration because it doesn't work. My initial is trying to drop and update columns here that don't exist. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete the snapshot as well. Let's delete the wiki database and regenerate that migration. And really, I should be adding new migrations. I shouldn't be deleting and rebuilding these, but it's SQLite. And we don't have a production deployment with a real database. All right.
Why did you choose SQLite over, say, just regular SQL?
Great question. I wanted to make it simple and easy to deploy, and then we can learn how to use update to SQL Server or Cosmos or CouchDB, Oracle, whatever, as those other databases, we have questions around them and folks that want to work with those. All right, I got it fixed. Did it open the browser that time?
Nope.
Oh.
I got no browser. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not special enough to get a browser, so I'll just watch on the screen.
We need to fix that. Okay. So I have my initial article here. I'm going to create a new article here. Well, actually, I need to I need to have a login here. So I'm going to register, and I will give it an email address. No, don't fill the form. I don't want to dox myself. Actually, what I should do is log in using my Twitter account. Because, right, this was the question somebody had was, what happens if you log in with Twitter where you don't have those other things?
So you had a breakpoint set.
I do. Oh my gosh. All right, so we're configuring everything here, so that should work. And I've successfully authenticated, but I need to give it the email address. There we go. Because eventually I'm going to get emails from this. So that's interesting that there's email here. Where'd that come from? Oh, that's on the comment. No, we're good on that. All right.
Oh, okay.
New article, topic. Code Fellows is great. We're working on a project with Code Fellows, and their instructors are top notch. All right, cool.
I approve.
All right, so I'll create that, and
Oh no.
okay, we're breaking things, right? Let's take a look at what the error is. I bet you we're parsing the person wrong.
Yeah.
So I'll put a breakpoint here and refresh the page.
Beautiful.
All right, now it should hit the breakpoint on your side as well. Yes, resend. I should be hitting this on post, but it's not. Has some great instructors. All right, create. There we go. So somewhere here it should be. I should have my core wiki on this.
Right. So confirm that our article ID is actually Goods. That's right. And then
Okay.
if we hit, okay. So let's grab our ID there. What is that? Okay.
So
what are you thinking, Jeff?
So somewhere here, the identity gets mapped to a user, right? To our identity user, and the identity object that's being passed here isn't the core wiki user. There's somewhere else along the way here that we actually get that real user object, and I'm blanking on where it is. If I look at non-public information here, I don't see it here. I forget how to do that. Get the email from a claim.
Oh.
But if I get the email, that I would be looking that person up. I mean, there's the name, right? And there's a claim here. That's fine. Let's look at them. I mean, there is the email claim right here. And I could use that to look up the user in my user database. But the user object is actually here.
Yeah, we should have access to what we want off of that.
Right. In fact, the name identifier, this GUID, look at that, 92952, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go back to my SQLite browser here, and let me open my identity database. And if I look at my users, 929, whatever. So there's my ID. So
that matches what we were looking at.
Yeah. So maybe we do a quick lookup against the users and grab that user's. Well, no, we have the ID. It's in the claim. So let's just copy that claim over. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So I'm going to change this then from user identity to user claims. And then it's the, right? Can I do, I want to do first, and then it was the ID. Oh, shoot. Which claim was it?
Email claim, I thought.
Well, that got us the email. I thought there was an ID in there as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. What happened to my object? I did not even remember the name of that.
If it's, I think it's claims dot, and then I want to put the using statement on that. No. Shoot. When in doubt, go to the documentation. Right? No. Yeah, I thought that there's like a list of standard. There we go. Claim types, and there's like user ID in here or something. Not user data.
Isn't it just ID, I thought?
Is it? It might. No, it's not ID. Tell you what, I'm gonna make this. Let's comment this out and just do GUID dot, and let's fire it again and see where it is. Membership get user. Ooh, that's a good suggestion from DJ Vortex. If I do, I don't think membership is actually. I think I need to do the user manager to get that. I shouldn't have to do that. I should be able to access the claims directly.
We don't. We need it. Okay.
It will take care of issues you're trying to handle. EM triple, where is it? You can actually use identity user as the type of author ID and then just name it author. Then EF will give you the entire author in scope whenever you are using article. This will also take care of those pesky GUID parsing issues in between. What you're thinking there, that would be good if they were in the same database context. I think. I can grab the all right, hang on. I'm going to click through and do the create here just to see, right? I don't care what this is because I'm just trying to generate some data. And if I look down here, it was, I want to say user.claims and take a look at exactly what that is. And I get a collection of those. Yep, first. So this is the name identifier. And it's the GUID. All right. Okay. Now, so that's one way to come in. So I'm just going to change this to claim types, and I don't need to do the as here. Name identifier. C dot. It's not value. Yeah, it is value type. Haha, I was right. Okay. And I don't need a .id. Now, to take a look at what EM triple is referring to, this user.findFirstValue. Ooh. Have you ever used something like that? That
like
might be saying this .user.findFirstValue. Ah, there we go. Okay. And then I can say claim types good call from DJ Vortex. So, and that'll give me
identifier for that user, which would be the GUID.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to grab this, put it there, that. Okay, so now I have the GUID. Now, the other suggestion, let me come back to what EM triple is saying. No, you can post the, okay. EM triple is suggesting that we add change the type of author ID to name it author. So let's go back over to article. So if we change this to author, right, change it to, what? Just name it author. It'll give you the entire author in scope. Well, we would need to make it a user somewhere along the line. Make it identity user, which is core wiki user. Hang on. So the suggestion, and I kind of like where he's going with this. If I say core wiki user author, I don't think I want to use this here, but if I did that and then, right, we add foreign key. No, it's not foreign key. But what he's suggesting is if we have this property here, it'll allow us to always get the entire author hydrated for us, and it'll store that ID in a field, and we don't need to do this back and forth to load the data.
Right.
I'm just going to store the ID for this for right now. I appreciate the suggestion, but I think I just want to store the ID because I want to get over and start talking about doing the notifications here. All right. So let's restart and make sure this works. Because Lord knows we've broken enough this morning. And, yes, Amanda is in an office. Move on, absolutely. We'll make it feel better and look better later. All right, so new article. All right, there we go. We learned a lot at Code Fellows in Seattle. They've got great instructors. All right, create, and now we should see. There we go. And we have an author ID.
Do we have an author ID? 1 second. Yeah, I have an author ID. Beautiful.
Awesome. So I'm going to let this go through and make sure that we create the record. Okay. And now we've got our article. Okay. Now let's do some notifications. All right. So I'm going to stop the application. And now the question is, when somebody creates a comment, right, we should notify the author.
Yeah.
So first off, we've got to configure notifications somehow. How do we get started with that?
Well, you have SendGrid on Azure set up.
Yes, I do.
Your API key created. Maybe first by just showing what SendGrid looks like. Do you have that up still?
Sure. I'll go back over to Firefox, and I've already allocated SendGrid here. Let me make sure I have my masks turned on. So I went and created a SendGrid account. Real easy to step through. And I signed up for the free account that sends 25,000 emails a month. SendGrid's a nice service that'll send emails on behalf of you without you being identified as a spammer. So you have to do all kinds of authentication with them to make sure that you're allowed to do it. And then they give you this cool console that allows you to see just how many emails you've sent, how many people have opened it, clicked through things in it, or if you've been reported for spam. So that's pretty cool. And there's configuration for my user ID and password to get into SendGrid here in Azure that I've configured. And over in SendGrid, I can use my settings down here to create an API key. And it's conveniently hidden here that that'll be used in my applications to access the SendGrid service. So that's pretty cool to get set up. Now, what are the steps we need now in order to integrate with them?
Yeah, the first thing it looks like we want to do is make sure we add the right NuGet package for SendGrid.
Okay. Should I do that?
Am I able to add NuGet packages to it through LiveShare?
I think.
Find out.
Let's give it a shot. Otherwise, we'll break it. Break it.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and let's see if I can grab it through the package manager console. Install package SendGrid. Nope, it doesn't like that. What is the actual name of this package? Well, I guess we're going through the user interface.
Terrific. Nothing more fun than using the user interface for NuGet.
Oh, it actually won't let me. I can't go to the user interface.
Oh no. All right. I will search for it and try and get it into the project. I'll just do a quick search for not SendGrid. And all right, I'm getting a lot of these aren't SendGrid.
No, that's weird.
Oh wait, I'm on a different package source here. I shouldn't be on just that one. Hang on. I think, if I remember correctly, from when we installed ASP.NET Core 2.1.1. I think I have a NuGet config file here I need to update. My bad. This one's on me. So my NuGet configuration file has a clear statement in it. I'm going to get rid of that. And if I
actually have the command too. So when you do that, that will allow me to do the package manager console, correct?
Yeah, should.
Okay. Let's see what happens when I push this. Oh, nope, still mad at me.
Still not? All right. Where'd it go? NuGet packages. All right, so we will add. I should be able to choose. No, it's not going to let me choose. I don't want to reload my project. I really don't. Let's see. There is a way to reload it and force it to update everything for NuGet. Manage NuGet packages. I should have... No, it's not showing me the other sources. Well, that feels bad. So what's the command? .NET install package.
Yeah, and then it should just be SendGrid version 990.
If I just say SendGrid, no.
You're using the CLI, so it'd be -- version 9.9.0.
Yeah, but it's not .NET install. It's .NET...
Add package.
That's what I'm doing wrong. Of course. Package SendGrid -- version.
Yep.
9.9.0.
All
right.
Ah, look, something's happening.
That's much better.
Perfect.
Awesome.
So now that we have that, we can just go ahead and throw in our using statements on wherever we're going to be implementing this.
Okay. So I think the first suggestion here is to do this on 9.9.0, not 9.0. All right, fine. I'll change it. Done. Okay. So the first suggestion was when somebody submits a comment, we should notify the author. So I think we want to put that in the comments page, which, where is the comments? Oh, here we go. Create comments under components. And there's create comments, CSHTML.
Ah, look at that.
All right.
We want to put it on the... So we want to notify the user. We want to notify the author that someone has commented on their post once a user has commented.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. We might want to do that on like an on post then, as soon as they submit.
Okay. So our comments have been moved out into this view component.
Okay.
So that view component is, right, it's invoked when it's presented on screen. But the actual post where it saves the comment, where is that? I forget where that is.
Where do you have, I'm looking at your code base here, where do we have the view components saved at?
Right, so they're defined here, but where does it do the actual post? And yeah. I don't think it's on the details page. Oh no, here it is. Here we go.
Where
On
are
the
you at?
details page, so I'm in the details model, right?
Ah,
If you click on my icon up top, you'll find me. So it's on post. When it receives a comment, it writes it to the database. So I think here's where we want to inject our notification.
you probably want to do that after it saves, right?
Yeah, sure.
So add notifications here.
Mm-hmm.
So it can't spell. So
Typing.
we could probably grab that, just go up here and throw in our using statement. So using SendGrid, and then it's actually telling me I need to use SendGrid helpers mail.
Okay.
And this should allow us to go ahead, and I'm just going off of the documentation. This is actually pretty great documentation.
Oh, cool. Okay.
They're just impressed with it. And we just go ahead and just create a new anonymous variable and just have it be, it says just new SendGrid. We just want to go ahead and grab
Create
all
a new
that.
reference to their service. Okay.
Yeah. What's wrong with it? Oh, SendGrid message. I'm not reading right. There we go. Fantastic. So now from there, we go ahead and set our email addresses. We set our recipients, our subject. So we could go message, set from, and it wants us to just then create a new email. And who are we having this from? This is going to be our from, which will be our current user.
Well, actually, the from should probably be like a no reply for the service.
Yeah.
So let's say like no reply at. I don't have a website for this. So let's say like no reply at corewiki.jeffreyfritz.com.
CoreWiki.
Yeah, .jeffreyfritz.
Okay. Jeffrey Fritz.
Yeah, there you go. .com.
All right.
Now there's some pretty good comments coming in on the chat room about we should verify folks' email address. Yes, we should do that when they register. There should be some GDPR considerations here, and we do have that feature already built into ASP.NET Core, so I'm not too worried about that. SendGrid bits should be wrapped in a service or something that abstracts the fact you're using SendGrid. I'm not opposed to that also, but let's get to that after we see how to use it here and we make sure that it works.
I think this next section, if I'm reading it correctly, is what is the name of the email? What is our title?
Our subject.
Or no, what's the name of, I'm so sorry, this is the name of the email. So we could say no reply team.
Okay.
Or something.
Sure.
And then we go and grab our recipients at this point. So we only have one recipient.
Right.
Right? Adding it to multiple, are we sending multiple people notifications?
Now let's send it to, well, let's start off sending it to just the author of the article.
Okay. So we could say our recipient, how do you spell this? Recipient?
Yeah, that looks good enough.
And we can then just create a new email address, and we'll have this be who we're sending it to, which would be our author, right?
Mm-hmm.
Access them through, oh my gosh, what is our object that has that author email in it?
So here's where we're going to need to do a little bit of work to get the author. We have the author ID attached to this article. So the author, right? The author ID is the article, right? Author ID. So we have that,
Okay.
but the author we need to get actually from our user manager and pull it based on that. So I'm going to scroll up here while you're down there, and I'm going to add I'm going to add a user manager here. Manager for, I think it's CoreWiki user, and we'll call it user manager. And I should be able to make that available here. I'll create a user manager object.
Fantastic. And we should be able to look up, do some sort of lookup attached to that, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So I will reference user manager dot, and then I want to say, right, get user, not get user ID, based on the principal. I want to find a user. Not.
You can find by, ooh, yeah, I've run into this.
Ah, there we go. Find by ID. Bingo.
This should.
And if I await that.
Oh, it wants us to, it's having a good string issue.
Okay. Done. And then we want to get their email.
Okay.
So now you can use the author email down there. Actually, let me rename that to author email for you. There you go.
This should just give us our author email. Oops, I can spell to author email. And then we want this to be the name of the author. So this is the email you get. This is what actually displays on there. So do we want to actually have like a first and last name here?
We probably, we should, but I'm not capturing that data at this point.
Okay.
So let's take that as a to-do.
Okay. I wonder, will it allow me just to do one? Doesn't look like it's a hard requirement. I think
Cool.
we're good.
All right.
So there's our recipient, and then we want to add our add tos. And these add tos is going to be who we sending. Oh, yeah. So sorry. That was for a list. Ignore me. We're good on that. Now we set the subject.
Okay.
So our subject is going to be set subject.
Well, actually, so we've created a recipient here. Shouldn't it be message? We have to attach that recipient to the message, right?
Yeah. Yes, let's do that right here. Add tos. That's what I was getting at. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Perfect. Now we want to set a subject. You have a new comment. I don't know. You want to get more creative than that? I'm open to suggestions.
That's a start. We could have it linked to this page. Give them a link to the page that we're on.
Well, this is just the subject, though. This is just the subject title.
Okay.
And then the next line is what we'll actually add the body.
Okay.
Yeah. And now this is where we put in, we can put in our content. It'll actually will accept, if we do our MIME type of HTML or text, it'll actually accept HTML or just regular text.
Sure. So we could have nicely formatted with images and a nice header, all that great stuff.
Yeah, we can just throw that in here. If we did MIME type, we can do HTML and that'll give us there, or we can do text and that'll also give us the ability to just do something like someone said something.
You should go figure that out. All right. So let's. So we have a little bit of content. Let's actually I'm trying to think. How can I get the full URL for this? If I get request.url. Let's say someone said something about your article right? And I'm just going to stick the request URL on there. Right, so it's, I thought I could get request.url. It's no longer here. I don't want to put together a new URI composing from everything. What's the new request URL? I'm asking the chat room. What do you, url.host property with query params that might fall through. Oh, look, they're going way deep into all these cool security things. Hey, we got it. Let's get past the simple scenario first. ASP.NET Core request.url. I forget how to get it with the new model here. To get absolute URLs. Yeah. URL helper, and then they're assembling it. Request. Yeah, there is a request.url. Right, I should be able to just grab that. New URI, yeah. Don't need that. I can say, I should be able to just say request dot. Now, why doesn't it find that? Nope. Unless you're asking what type the var keyword is. No. It's so cool to see others pair programming on Twitch. Love your AV setup. Hey, Node Botanist. Yeah, I'm blanking here. It's... Why am I not getting... Oh, you know what? They created an extension to do it, is what's going on. That doesn't make sense. url.actioncontextRequest.scheme. Yeah, oof. I don't want to do all of that. Right, creating a new url.action. Yeah, I'm going to end up using URL helper for this. Huh. Not inherently. I thought you were asking about those specific. No. Why am I... So you don't need to preface a variable with a type. Yeah, okay. That's a different question folks were talking about. I thought that there used to be a way to just get the entire URL with ASP.NET Core. With ASP.NET.
Through, I know with ASP.NET I've used it. I thought it was with raw URL. HTTP context. Isn't that what I used to grab that with? But I don't think that's a thing anymore in Core. I think that got removed.
Yeah, I think it was removed. So if I say context request, and down here it's not available, I would have to assemble it back together with scheme, right, which is going to be your HTTP, and then put host on that, and then put the not the body.
So I guess an alternative route to go, I don't know if this is an option, how you have it set up, but could we possibly just construct the URL manually on however it is that you have these pages set up?
Yeah, we would.
URL, like post ID, and just having to construct it manually?
Yes. Actually, so we might be able to receive the URL helper. As there's the route URL. Hang on. For a specific route, but we're not on a route. We're on a page. So if I were to say page, and then the page name generates a URL with the absolute path for the specified page name, and then I would need to pass in my values. So I think that...
It doesn't like that, though.
No.
It needs a context.
Static functions on URL helper. Are there static functions? You're right, we do need it. No, there are no static functions on URL helper. I like putting together that URI, like you were suggesting, and use the various components of it, which is going to be, right, it's going to be request dot, and then we got to start with, it's not even protocol, it's a scheme. And this is going to be a string concat. Request scheme. This feels so dirty. Request dot, and then it's going to be host. And then I need the path. And then finally it's going to be that. Oh no, I think we just need path. And then I can say. At this URL to string. Actually, I don't even need to pass to string because it does that automatically. All right, so I think we have the appropriate URL. Could use string builder, uses less memory. Yeah, I could. HTTP context get encoded URL. Is that where it is? Nope, it's not there. Oh, it's an extension. Look at that. That's what we wanted. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
That's beautiful. And
That's
so much simpler than what we were trying to do.
the fact that it's not right there on the base object is kind of annoying, and you had to go dig and find it. All right. So we've got the URL. We're going to put, somebody said something about your article at, and then we're going to pass that back. Now, how do we actually send the email?
We actually have to go off of the client. So we want to, up here, I'm just going down further in the documentation. Essentially, we need to create a new client that attaches to our SendGrid client with the API key in it. You have the API key saved in your user secrets, is that correct?
I didn't put it in there yet.
Okay.
So here's what I'm going to go into app settings here, and I'm going to allocate a space for it so that we can agree where it lives. Now so let's call it SendGrid API key, and I'll put some value in this location, right? So you can use configuration SendGrid API key to get that.
Okay.
You're going to need to receive configuration into the page.
So you have the API key saved. You said that's at configuration. What was the variable name that we have underneath?
It's here. I'll flip back so you can see it. SendGrid API key.
SendGrid API key. You have
Yep.
That? Okay. And we can grab that just through our.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to modify my user secrets on disk over here on a different screen so nobody can see. I'm watching you. All right. So
we should be able to just grab our API key is going to be that. I'm missing something here. Oh, goodness.
And of course, it opened on the wrong screen altogether. Nice. Thanks so much. Way to go there. I am a pro streamer.
Configurations, connection string. Is that it? I feel like no, that's not right.
So configuration isn't available for you yet on this page.
Oh.
I'll inject it here for you in the constructor real quick.
That's not working. That would make complete sense. So I'm going to close that out.
So I will receive an I configuration. And now I'll control dot to make sure that we get the appropriate type. Yep. This dot configuration equals config. This I'll create as a read-only property. All right, now you should be able to do your configuration.
Fantastic. Is that the right syntax? Beautiful. Now we can just do, we can grab a response, and we can just have it do await client, that's what I named it, right? Yeah, client dot send email async, and we're going to send our message. And
awesome.
That, send it.
So there's a comment here from .NET Know-How about using Configuration Manager. That was the old class that we had in .NET Framework. In .NET Core, we just have a configuration dictionary that we're able to reach through using syntax like Amanda added right here. We just reference the key that we want, and it'll give us the text that corresponds to it.
Now, Jeff, my question for you is, are we going to be reusing this? Do we want to export this to an external location that we could just call? Or are we okay with just having this hard right here?
So I think that's what, I think, was it Janescu? Somebody was suggesting it'd be really great if this was out inside of its own service class. So we could reference it and wrap up these types of operations with, one line of code. Just call the SendGrid service, or just call our email notifier and tell it send an email and here's who the recipient should be and whatever other parameters. I think that's a good refactoring.
Okay. Do we want to do that now, or do we want to test and see if this works first?
Oh, let's test and see if it works. All right. Let's start the application.
What I'd like to do, though, Jeff, before we do that, can we hit a breakpoint so we can walk through as we're doing it the first time to see what we're looking at?
In the edit here, in the details.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's
go.
Go ahead. Put a breakpoint where you think we should be.
Let's do it right here, right on our response, just so that we can check our message in its entirety.
Okay. So you set that breakpoint.
So if when you expose your API key.
As long as we don't mouse over that.
Okay. I'm gonna mouse over message, so I hope that doesn't.
Yeah, we shouldn't.
Okay.
We shouldn't see it there. All right. So I'm going to over here. I'm going to go to our new article. So I'll go to latest articles. Here's this, and I'm going to write a comment here. Name is Jeff, and my email that I'm coming from. Sure, we'll make it my email address. Hey, how do I get started with Codefellows? There we go. And I want to send a notification when that's submitted. That's a good question. Nice comment we'd want to notify the author about. So let's click submit, and there's our breakpoint.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
So look at our message.
So I can't see. This is nice. I can't see the IntelliSense that's popping up for you over there. But I can mouse over and see it here. So you can inspect things without that API key leaking out by accident.
Fantastic. So I have our from. It looks like our from is where it needs to be. Personalizations. What is that? Oh, yep. Here's our subject. You have a new comment. In our twos, it looks like we have Jeff at jeffreyfritz.com.
So it got the email from the author record properly. Cool.
Here's a question for you. We had it as you choose the same email as in your comment as you did as your account, right?
I did.
So it probably would have been better to have that as a different email.
Yeah. We can do that for a second test here, right? When we do the refactoring.
It looks good. I'm going to hit continue.
Go for it.
Good?
Okay. Yep. And it went off into the ether. Let's go over to the SendGrid console and see if it sent. Poker Tsar? Thank you for the follow. All right, where is my SendGrid? Here it is. So if I refresh, I should see that one email sent eventually.
Now, I found this to sometimes show me and sometimes not. So
okay.
It's sent and it doesn't. The panel doesn't show us.
All right,
I'm
going to look over here on my. I have another machine over here with my email up, and I don't see the email just yet. Now, I mean, we send it asynchronously, right? So it should send at some point here. Does it send immediately?
I think there's like a minute delay.
Okay.
You probably should have had some sort of, once that response came back true, have some message, but we don't actually have any sort of catch if it doesn't go through. If our response is failure, we don't actually do anything with that.
Sure. We would probably see, if I look under activity here, oh, here we go, deferred and then processed. So it looks like it was processed and it's getting ready to send. I'm keeping an eye on my email box over here. I'll even check the spam.
So Jeff, we have a question I think we chatted about earlier too here in the chat channel. It's asking why we're using our configuration versus key vault.
That's a good question. Do you want to talk about it? I can certainly answer it.
I think we just came to the conclusion that we just haven't set it up yet. It's just a matter of not using it yet. So maybe you have more insight.
Key Vault's a great service. There's a little bit of configuration that has to go with it, and I wanted to show the minimum that you need in order to get this service running. Certainly, when you do deploy to Azure, it's a great way to keep all of your keys, your APIs secure, so that folks don't accidentally find them or see them, and that works great for folks that are on Azure. If you're on a different cloud provider, if you're on Google Cloud, Amazon Cloud, there's other vault providers over there that you can use as well. But this is a low friction way for us to get it running without you having to configure those extra features. Certainly, we're already wiring up to SendGrid here, and we're using Azure for a little bit of that. But we'll eventually get to talking about what's involved in getting Key Vault involved. But like I said, I wanted to keep the friction to a minimum.
Is there an email yet?
No email yet.
Oh.
But it says it was deferred here as a second. 451 internal error.
Oh.
SMTPID processed string. Okay. It's not. Can I see the body of this? Oh, here we go. Deferred. Uh-oh. With a 451 internal error.
What is that?
Yeah. I don't know. Does it... I mean, process string looks like... I'm not quite sure what the process... Well, that process string looks like just the date that they tried to send it. But this... It's not clear why it's deferred or what a 451 internal error is.
I don't know. Let's see what the interweb says.
Yeah. Authorization failed is what S&B is saying for it to send.
Is it the wrong API key? But wouldn't that tell us...
I copied it in right from there. Right? I would think we wouldn't even get connected.
Yeah.
This doesn't look like minimal friction. Oh, come on.
Yeah, we wouldn't have even...
Oh, no. I got it.
Oh, beautiful. That was a really long time.
I got it. Delivered. It just arrived. I have it on another screen here.
Does it look good?
It looks good. I'm going to open and just allow it to be seen. Over here, I'll pop it out because I don't want people to see all of my emails. So here we go. From no reply team, no reply at CoreWiki, blah, blah, blah. Images are not displayed. I didn't have any images, but that's okay. Hand delivered by an internet fairy. Oh, come on. Someone said something about your article, and then there's the full URL. Cool. All right.
Does the
so
URL link correctly?
Of course it does. I'm going to copy it and paste it into this browser. And it links properly, and if I scroll down, there's my comments, along with my gravatar, because I have the email address that I chose to use.
That's perfect.
Awesome. So that was pretty low friction once we got past, getting some of our database pieces connected here. But just adding notification was half dozen lines of code. It's in one place now. But I liked what you were saying about maybe this makes sense to be a common notifier service that we pass around our application.
I like it.
Okay. So I'm going to exit this. I'll leave my SendGrid console up here. Let's go back to Visual Studio. And let's start refactoring.
Okay.
I have a friend that says refactor mercilessly. It's always fun to delete code. Standby Reloading says, needs a permanent link to the comment. That's not a bad idea, but I don't think we have links to our comments yet on the user interface. But let's take that as a to-do here. I'm just going to put to-do permalink to comment right here. All right. So if we want to refactor this out into a common service class, like a repository, how would you get started, Amanda?
I'm actually not sure. I'm going to go ahead and bounce this back to you, Jeff.
Okay. So what I do is I put common services like this into a services folder, right?
Okay.
Something that I'm going to reuse frequently. So I'm going to add a new folder, and I'll call it services. And then let's just create a class in there. And I'll call it email notifier. Right? And like some of the folks in the chat room were saying, let's extract away, let's hide the fact that it's SendGrid from our code. So that the code that only needs to know that it's sending emails knows that. And we'll put just that SendGrid specific stuff inside this class.
Do we need to throw this through DI on our startup class?
I think that's a great idea. All right, so all I've been doing at work lately is writing services. All right, ArcZero. So let's grab these couple lines here for creating the message all the way down through sending the email. And I'm just going to cut that and paste it into email notifier. And let's create a method. Well, it's going to be async. We're going to return a task. We'll figure out returning status codes. Send, just send email?
Sure. Seems
okay. Recipient email string recipient. We need to do recipient name. But for right now, do subject string body. And I'll just paste in the content. We'll figure out what else we can refactor later. So I'm going to end up calling this from over here. So I'm going to just reference notifier. I don't have the method yet, the object. But I'm going to send it to this author email. Look at you filling in those using statements. Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, helpers.mail. Cool. That should clean up most of our errors. This should be, what, our recipient email?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And subject, I'm going to copy the subject here so that you can replace that with the subject that's being passed in.
Fantastic. Subject, oops, not right. There we go.
And then the last one, the body. All right, so I'm going to copy that for right now, and there it is.
And we're just going to assume they're always going to use text, not HTML?
Yeah, let's assume that. I'm going to steal this URL here from you, because you don't need it inside that object.
Sure don't. You want to throw up our constructor if you're right. Shortcut on me. Traps. Ooh.
What is this?
I was trying to do a constructor.
Oh, yeah, we need to.
Shortcut does not work.
Oh no.
That's fine.
If you end up putting that service into a business project, you won't have access to the URL helpers. Right, we're going to need to pass that in. And that's why I'm thinking that structuring the body for right now, leave that over on the other side. There are no shortcuts.
Shoot. Got called out. Yeah, so we want to bring in our configuration, right? What is the settings for that again?
It's the full name is Microsoft.extensions.configuration.
That's up here, right?
We can add it up there if we'd like.
Microsoft.extensions.configuration?
Yep. And then you can receive as the parameter an I configuration.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
And we can go ahead and throw our And it should, I don't know, I'm kind of afraid of these shortcuts not happening now.
Oh, it's going to work. It's going to
Oh,
work.
perfect. Look at that. Beautiful. That's exactly what I wanted.
Yes. So then down there on 34, we need to reference your configuration field.
Yeah. I'm debating how I want to do that. We'll just go like that way.
That works.
Yeah, that works. So
Standby reloading makes a good point here that our business class, our service class here, shouldn't have any reference to the web bits. I agree, and we've removed all those references to the web bits, so it only knows how to do SendGrid, and we're just passing text into it at this point. Send email via SendGrid. Input the message body from and to. Yeah, let's make it really simple for getting this transmission out. I think that's all we need. But you were spot on when you were saying we need to put this notifier inside of dependency injection,
right,
so that we can pass this along. So let's do that over in the startup class.
Yeah. So to do that, we probably want to go down. Oh, I need to go to the startup class here.
Draga says we aren't passing the request URL into SendMail. How will the recipient know where the comment was made? So I actually put together the body of the email that we're going to send over here in my details page, and I put it right there. And I'll pass that string into send email. Didn't see that. There you go. All right, so here's Amanda over in startup, and we're going to go down into the configure services method up here. And right after services at singleton, I think we can add this as a transient.
Yeah, we should just be able to do services transient, and we want this to be with our. Oh no, I got an exception. Hold on. Cool. Is it gonna work? Okay. And we want to call this. What did we just name our file? What was that? Email notifier.
Email notifier, yeah.
And notifier. We want that to throw to. I feel like I spelled that wrong.
No, you're fine. It's in the services namespace.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's going to give you an underline there.
Services, email notifier. There we go. And we want that to run with our email notifier, right?
Well, I think you might be okay to just reference it.
Oh, just like that?
Yeah, because it's a concrete type. It might work.
We could always just convert this email notifier to an interface and then just we can do that extra step if we really want to get fancy.
Oh, and then we have a SendGrid notifier, and then we have maybe a Twilio notifier if we want to send people text messages. That's not bad.
I think, so this should work then, right? So do we want to test this out and make sure that our external service works?
Let's do it.
All right. Magic.
The Simeon asks, do you have to inject static helper classes? I've made the mail helper static, but not sure how that works with DI. No, you don't have to inject. If it's static, you can just reference that static type directly. So, if environment equals development, use local SMTP papercut. That's not a bad idea either. I'm okay with that. Let's start the project here and let's see if it sends the email. Uh-oh. We broke it.
Oh, no. What did we break?
Oh, you know what? We added it to dependency injection, but we never injected it into our details page.
You know what? Every time that'll get it. So we want to throw that into our details page, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to add another component here, email notifier, and I'll just call it notifier. And I'll control dot to get our using statement. This dot notifier equals notifier. And I'll control dot to generate a read-only property for that. And now my code down further there should work. Looks good. Now, send email is actually an asynchronous process. So it's a good practice to make that send email async. So I'm going to F2 on this and just put the keyword, async at the end. There we go.
Beautiful.
and it's renamed in both places, but we should await that, right?
Looks good.
All right. Let's give it a shot.
I'm optimistic, Jeff.
Me too. I think we didn't break this one.
Not this time.
Not this time. All right. And application built. There it's running.
Ooh, look at that. I think we still have a couple breakpoints hit, so I'm not going to be surprised if we see it get hit. Cool.
All right. So it opened on a different screen. So there's my website. I'll go back to latest changes over here. New comment from oh gosh, who can I pick on? Okay. From Amanda and an email?
Amanda@codebells.com.
All right, and the question was, how do I get started? Go to our website, too many dubs, codefellows.com.
Yes.
For more details. All right, and if I submit, there it is. Cool. And if we go over to our SendGrid console, we should see our email. All right. That was me opening that first email, because SendGrid gives you a little bit of email tracking.
You get a lot for a free package on SendGrid. That's amazing.
Yeah. All right, so the new one that we just sent was processed.
So you should receive an email saying someone commented.
Yep. All right. And we should see, right, it very quickly here, ramp up and start sending this. I stopped using the async prefix on method names. Everything is async these days. I guess it made sense when you had both async and non-async methods. It does feel a little bit like Hungarian notation from back in the day. That, hey, we need to tell you exactly what's going on with this type. And that works great for some folks. You know, it's a nice practice. There are some folks that believe that should be a standard. I know at Microsoft, when we're building APIs, we want to make sure that it's clear exactly what methods are asynchronous and which ones are not. There we go. It was delivered. And I have a new comment. And I do have the email in my email box over here. I don't think I need to open and show it, but I do have the email. It was properly delivered. Cool.
Okay.
So this, you know, we've got this wired up and it does send it nicely. Yeah, prefix, postfix. Yeah, getting that connection, right, that definition to make it clearer what your API is doing is nice. Could I scroll the command window up? I thought I saw an exception fly by. Certainly, S&B. So the exception that you saw was when I navigated to the page directly at port 5000, and it routed me to the secure socket layer, to the TLS. Right, here we go. Authentication failed because the remote party cleared the transport stream, and right, I'm on the 5000 port. I'm not on 5001, and you see it routed me to 5001, and I got in properly. So failed to authenticate the HTTPS because I went to 5000. That's where I navigated to. So the watch app have twiggles to show when message is sent and when it is watched. I don't know what that means. Have twiggles? What's a twiggle? Do you know what a twiggle is?
I don't know what a twiggle is.
Help me out there, Janescu. What's a twiggle?
It's kind of hard to say, though.
Yeah. Oh, WhatsApp. Yes. Okay. So that's an interesting point there, Simeon. So right, if you've used a service like WhatsApp, right, and you see it also in I'm trying to think other places, in Teams, in Slack, it tells you when people have read your message. And SendGrid is providing this information to me. Is that something that I want to expose in my user interface for CoreWiki? Maybe. I don't think for what we're doing here as an initial minimum viable introduction to sending email notifications, I don't think that's something that I want to do. But I do want to show that there were some questions we had earlier, Amanda, about GDPR. Have you seen the GDPR features in the ASP.NET identity screens?
I was at Build earlier last month, and they went over it with Core, but I don't remember much of what was put in there. So maybe you could refresh.
Absolutely. Let's take a quick look at that, and I want to thank the Encrypted Afro. Okay, there's our leader for cool new handle of the day. The Encrypted Afro, welcome, and thank you for your subscription. I'm going to match that, and we'll get a donation to our friends at Girl Develop It, and you'll have access now to the C# bot emote in the chat rooms. So let's take a look back in our application, and I'm going to open this up. If you click on it starts off with hello in your name here, but it's the manage your account settings. And right, there's actually a wire up here to be able to send verification emails. You can connect that in your services to be able to do that, to get that email verification that some of the folks were suggesting. But there's a personal data option here. If I click into that, your account contains personal data you have given us. Page allows you to download or delete this data. So if I click download, it'll actually show me a JSON file that has all the information that was saved for this user.
And this is default from the template in 2.1?
Yeah, this comes by default for you when you use identity with ASP.NET Core 2.1.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, right? So it's real easy to see here, this is the information that I sent, and of course if I want to remove it, I can click delete and it'll get removed from the database, which comes, right, this is just going to do a delete from my users table, which comes back to what some of the folks in the chat room were saying earlier, because I'm not pasting that email address directly into the comment record. Well, I am in the comment record right now, and we'll need to fix that. With having to log in and saving the author information into the comment record. But for this, it'll just delete that user record, and then that author that's connected to an article, it won't be able to find the email address to send to. So we need to put in a check to make sure that we properly find the author and their record to send notification. So there's something there that a bunch of these checks to make sure that we have proper data integrity, right? That all the data that we expect to be there is there and in good, clean state. But that's how easy it is to clear out, and you're at the basics of being GDPR enforced, right, or capable. Right, because you need to, one of the tenets of GDPR, the European Data Privacy Act, is that you need to be able to be forgotten. You have the right to be forgotten by an application. So the delete here allows you to be forgotten. So pretty cool.
I like it.
Easy to do. Yeah. My team is stuck using .NET 4.6.1 because of legacy code. ArcZero, you won't believe how many people are building new applications using .NET 4. On a daily basis. There's a lot of them out there. It's GDPR compliant. That's what I was thinking of. Headforge. Thank you. But there's a lot of folks using older versions of .NET framework out there, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about or upset about. They're all great features out there, and you should be able to upgrade without too much of a problem. One of your vendor applications is .NET 1. Okay, that's right out there, infected FPS. We need to help you out there. Whew. All right, so we've got the notifications wired up. Should we look at doing send verification email? I've never set this up. Have you ever set up the send verification email?
I think I accidentally did it once, but that was a long time ago. So
okay.
I think it's puttering through.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. And this shouldn't be too hard. We have an email notifier now. It shouldn't. It should be easy for us to connect that to SendGrid. I'm
Now I
gonna.
know that we need to have some sort of, because we need to generate another, because I have sent out a verification, set up a verification email before in other projects, not necessarily in core, but we need to find a way so that when they verify their email, that request comes back to them and we're expecting only that user to access that page. So there is some more hookup in the background that I think we have to take into consideration.
Yeah, yeah. Headforge, with regards to GDPR, says it's recommended to use pseudonymification, so you might lose a client or clerk's personal information, but if you need something like a history, you can't just delete his or her history. All forms have to be HTTPS enforced. Yes, we've got that. And I did set up, you need to be registered to comment. I just haven't wired up the author to the comment object yet. So, yeah, those are good connections there. But right now it will just delete the user record from the database is what that delete does. All the other places that ID is out there, you'll still see that ID referenced in the records, and it just won't connect up to an author. That author's been forgotten with the way that I'm structured right now. Let's take a look at wiring up the verification email. I seem to remember there was an interface that we had to implement. We might be able to just implement that interface on our email notifier class and wire up to SendGrid in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quick search with Bing. ASP.NET Core notification verification email, right? And this, it should be. I thought it was just a interface to implement. And account confirmation and password recovery. I think that's going to be it. Okay, register, password, confirm your account, confirm your email, password recovery reset. Yes, where's the configuration for this? Oh, we're in ASP.NET. We're not in ASP.NET Core. Rats. Not code. That's why I didn't get it. Account confirmation and password recovery. Here we go. All right. Prerequisites, blah, 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 blah. Yep. Okay. Web application, individual user accounts. I don't need to see the identity. Thank you, Infected FPS, for the follow. Require confirmed email. Here's where when you configure identity, right, to require people to be confirmed before they can log in and use the application. We can wire that up later, but I need to configure the email provider. So auth message sender options file. And they created a class with the user and the key here. That's not too bad, but I should be able to I thought there was a way to configure that quickly. Auth message sender class. So
you're trying to find the pre-created interface that would do that?
Yeah, I think.
Email sender, is that what you're looking for?
Yep, I think this is it. email sender. Thank you for the follow, Jovath.
Yeah, so, hold on.
So I think. Yeah. We wire up. We connect the email sender here to our notifier class, and I think we just, and it looks like it actually has the same syntax that we were going after.
Same.
And user manager confirm email async. Yeah, if we use the email sender here, it should wire up to that directly.
You want to attach that onto the email notifier?
I think so. I think if we add that interface, we're pretty well in at that point.
Can I stop your debugging?
Absolutely. Okay. Cool. So back in email notifier, there we go.
you want to do email sender.
Is it sender or was it? Yeah, email sender. There we go.
It's yep. Okay, there we go. I think that's the right one.
Yeah, that looks right.
Apparently we have. It only needed that. It's not yelling at me. Is it yelling at you?
No, I don't have any red underlines.
We already had everything implemented. Beautiful.
It's like we've done this before.
Right? At least
planned that way. Okay. So I think we need to
now,
go ahead.
We should get our DI then for our startup.
To include email sender. Yeah. Looking in the code here, services add it wants us to add it as a singleton.
That should give us. Did I do that wrong? Maybe it's going to need to add the namespace. Yeah.
So you added it there on line 79.
Perfect.
And so back in our details page, I need to change that from email notifier to. Yeah, where was that? Details.
Yeah, up here. So we can go. I'm just going to do that right here, if that's okay. Email sender.
Sure, I'll change what's being passed in.
Beautiful.
And control dot, so we get our using statement. Cool. All right. Wow, lots of questions here. Verification to hook with SendGrid. Is that a GDPR verification you're referring to? We might need to include that in our privacy policy. It allows us to keep records of activity that happened without tying to an actual person. We anonymize it, otherwise all the links break in the related tables for historical information. Yeah, I've seen people add an extra layer of information. So you have a user profile and then you have the security, and you just wipe out that user profile, or you one-way hash some of the information there. Okay, user manager confirm email async is in areas identity pages account confirm email. So that standby reloading is, I know he has a copy of the code. Areas pages account, and he's referring to confirm email. Thank you for confirming your email, and that doesn't really. Okay, so on get user ID and some sort of a code. Find by ID, unable to load user. There it is. User manager confirm email async. Cool. So it'll actually do that verification. So should we give this a try and see if that button works?
Sure.
All right. One more time. Back into the breach. I mean, gosh, getting all these extra features and security things and notifications wired up with a few lines of code, a little bit of configuration in the dependency injection container, it feels good to not have to write a lot of code and just get a ton of features available to me.
I love it.
All right, so I'm going to click send verification email. Verification email sent. Okay, so I'm going to go back over to my SendGrid console and refresh and see if we see it. There it is. Just processed the new message.
It was way quicker than last time.
I'm winning. No, I don't know. But I should get now a different structured email that has the default content for this. And I'm waiting to see that delivered message. Oh, now I've angered SendGrid. Let's see here. Arc0, nailed it. Yeah, I like to use Unity container for my singleton management. Okay. You know what? There's a bunch of different containers available for you out there. Autofac, Ninject. Couple of different ones that you can use easily without having to write a lot of configuration. It's really nice to have options out there. But for our purposes, the default ASP.NET one does a pretty good job. Right, and it took like a minute or two for the first one to go. Any for UWP. What do you mean, Dark Tower Builder? UWP is Universal Windows Platform. There we go. Confirm your email. So I do have an email. I'll open that and show what that looks like. Open my email box. And it's this very handy, very long. Thank you for the follow, Destidom and Captain Sharpie. Thank you for the follow as well. Now, check this out. And this, I think, goes towards what you were saying earlier, Amanda. Because we forced the MIME type to be text, we actually got markup delivered, which looks weird.
So we could do some sort of like check against the body coming in if it's an HTML. If there's HTML tags in it, we could have it be mime.html.
We could do that.
Really want it to be crazy.
Or we could just force it to HTML, and if it's text, it's text, right? I mean, or maybe we create a second method that does just send email as text, and our send email by default sends as HTML.
Yeah.
But let's see what happens when I click the link. Oh no.
Oh no.
No page named / matches supplied values. So I've got a routing issue here. Going to identity account, confirm email, and then look, it's passing in my user ID, right? And that's that GUID that we saw earlier that was attached to my user record. And then, right, some really ugly long verification code. That's interesting. So my stack here is showing authentication middleware invoke, and it's trying to go to confirm email. I wonder if I copied this and pasted it into the same instance of the browser that I'm using to actually work with the application. Right? Nope. But no page named /. That's weird, right?
So
when I'm over here, it's identity account manage. And this is trying to get to identity account confirm email. Let's go back over here. Identity account confirm email. It's there, right? If I delete all this goo. Oh, it doesn't even get to that. That's interesting. If I go back over here, identity account. I'm not in manage. I'm at the top. Now, manage is this content down here. Confirm email is under account right there. See, that's where it is. Custom routes to blame. No, because there's an area added for identity, and it knows to take identity. Right, we're in identity at this point. You can see we're down inside of this. My silly eyes. Yeah, I know. I can send both text and HTML versions in the same email. True. But I don't control the body of that email that said, please confirm your account. That's defaulting to HTML, so I can't. I could write a bit of custom code to change how that behaves, but by default, it's trying to send HTML format. And your Headforge, your question about Java J4 doc processor, I'm not familiar with that at all. UX is nice when you respond to that email that was sent. Yeah. And not sure you'd be happy clicking that URL. Yeah, I get it. It looks a little intimidating, but I'm curious where this is falling down.
Redirect. So what page is this bouncing back to? Where is this page here in our code?
So this page, identity account confirm, is here under identity account, and there's confirm mail right there.
Confirm email. Okay.
So I'm going to put a breakpoint right here just to see if we hit it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, and we do hit it. All right.
Well, what's our values then? Our user ID is null, and our code is null.
Right.
Which is
okay.
fine because you took them out.
I took them out. Yeah. So let's let it run and put that old URL back in.
Okay.
The previous one that actually had those values, and see what happens. Not there. Do I still have it on my clipboard? I do.
Magic.
All right. So now I have a user ID. Now it didn't pick up my code.
What is our code supposed to be?
I know. I know what this is.
Oh,
no. I know what this is. So our code is supposed to be this really long, janky content.
Okay.
Check this out. I know what's going on here. I'm actually going to stop because I know what the problem is, and we're going to have to change.
It's always a good feeling.
Oh, this is such a good feeling to know that you're alive. Take a look. Here's the URL that it navigated to because that was what was sent to me.
Right.
So here's the user ID. And here's the code. Do you see the problem?
You have that amp.
Yeah. It didn't properly...
It makes me remember someone saying that about a few minutes ago in the comments. So I'm not sure who it was.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Joban44. Yeah. Points it out there.
Where was that? Did he?
Yeah, seeing and ampersand amp in...
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be
there. Yeah. Oh, all right. So let's go back to the code and let's change our email notifier. And let's force it to HTML.
Yeah. Let's go and do that. Should be... There we are.
Yeah. That was it. I was trying to scan through the code and find it, but you found it before me there on 33. Awesome. And we'll try this one more time. And I think that'll put us right at the end of the show.
Let's end on a good note.
Yeah, right? All right, there we go. Good. And so here's our page. I'll click into my register, and I will say send verification. Email sent. I'll go back over to SendGrid and watch the console. ArcZero is going to poke the internet fairy to deliver it.
The internet fairy is our friend.
It is. If only I would get $2 under my pillow every time I sent something to the internet fairy.
Right? Oh, man.
So, processed. All right, we should see it go out in here. And I have my email box opened over here. Come on, SendGrid. I need to have some thinking music here. Let's try this. SendGrid is thinking. It'll eventually process. I promise. And it always felt like when you heard that music that Peter Brady was scheming. You know, he was up to no good. Oh, deferred. It didn't send it the first time.
Wonder why.
Too many requests. Bah. Somebody go poke the internet fairy. Here it comes. Come on. With HTML, you could send image from the comment via mail, right? Yes, absolutely. Jeopardy thinking music. I need that music as well. That'd be great. There we go. There we go. I just got it to come through.
Beautiful. Does it work?
It does, and it looks better, too.
Not a nasty, big old URL.
No nasty, big old URL sitting there.
So much cleaner on the eyes.
Link to it above. Yeah, all right. I'll have to grab that and pop that out. So now, here we go. This is where I'm navigating to.
Oh, we have a break.
And do we have values? Hey, I see a code.
That's beautiful. That's what we need.
All right, let's let it go. Thank you for confirming your email. Awesome.
Sick.
So if I go back and look at my record, I get a little green check that indicates that it's been verified.
Perfect.
Sweet.
That's a flag in the database, right? Where it says it's verified. It's just a Boolean flag.
Yes. Yes, it's just a Boolean flag. So now, to what the folks were saying earlier, we can actually do a check to make sure that the author's email has been verified before we send them a message.
That makes sense. That's definitely a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's where I think we should wrap up today. What I'm going to do, let me see, do I have it over here? I don't have it. I don't have it here. Hang on. No, I'm not going to do it. I have the Mario, you've reached the end of the level music that I sometimes play as we're wrapping up. So we do have a couple of things that would be nice to clean up here, but we've added this initial functionality to work with SendGrid. What I'd like to do, just to make sure that we don't try to do SendGrid if it's not available, is inside of our email notifier, if that SendGrid API is not set, to just return right here at the top of Send Email Async. So I'm just going to drop in a quick check there. And I'll say, if string is null or empty, return task dot completed. There we
Perfect.
go. Don't do anything if SendGrid isn't configured. All right. And yes, we'll put an await there just to make it happy.
Oh.
Is an async method that returns task. A return keyword must not be followed. Oh, right. So I don't need to do that. Fantastic. Cool. All right.
Perfect.
So
That looks good.
we've got an initial set of features here to send emails, and we can go trim that out through the rest of our application. But thank you very much for helping me to set up and do this initial notification bit here. I think we really learned a lot about how easy it is to get emails wired up to our application. I'm just going to drop into the command window real quick and do that commit. So let me make sure, what branch am I on? I'm on a different branch than I want to be. I'm going to go back to dev. No, I'll just do it here. I'll do it here. I'll git add and then git commit. Added initial email notifications using SendGrid with Amanda Iverson. Awesome. And push. And now we've got code available if folks want to check it out.
Perfect.
And want to learn a little bit more about working with SendGrid. And of course, Amanda, I'm going to archive this video and send it over to YouTube a little bit later today. So if folks want to learn, want to follow, slow down and look at some of the code we wrote, ask questions on the chat over there, the messages over there, they'll be able to find this video over there.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jeff, for having me on your show. I
Oh,
definitely love doing this. And
thank
thank you, everyone, for watching the whole time.
Yeah, thank you. Everybody that tuned in. Looks like we had 70, 80 folks that tuned in throughout it, and all of our new followers that joined. Thanks so much for joining us here today. But I think it's time for us to get going. We'll see you next time on Thursday. My guest will be Rachel Appel. We'll see you then. Take care.